Hey guys, so we're on our course page in the calendar section, and we're going to go ahead and look at today's agenda, and I'm going to walk you through your assessment grade for the text Young Arthur. Remember, this does count as a test grade, okay? So your course page for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday all look the same because remember, you're going to have those 3 days to complete your test grade, your project, okay? So learning targets, we covered 1, 2, and 3 last week. This assessment is going to cover AKS 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to throw in AKS 28, which is I can draw evidence from a literary text to support analysis, reflection, and research, which basically just means this is a standard that covers your writing and how you compose your written response based off of the knowledge you gain through the text, okay? So your classwork in Google Classroom, we already looked at our announcements for the day. Number 2, you are going to read the legend Young Arthur. It is in Google Classroom. And then number 3, you have your traditional literature project. Once again, this is a test grade, and it is due on Wednesday, April 15th at 11:59 p.m. It is also in Google Classroom. Okay, so I'm going to open up first periods. Okay, so it takes you directly to your project. So we're going to take a look at it and walk through it together. Okay, so it says, students, you will start your Young Arthur Traditional Literature Project. All directions are included in your Traditional Literature Young Arthur Coat of Arms Project Google Slides, which is right here. And everybody has their own copy because you are going to be doing your writing inside of this Google slide and clicking turn in, and I'm going to grade it. Okay, so that's why everyone has a copy. So you will need to read a passage, Young Arthur, which I have provided for you. It is inside of this Google slide. And then create a special coat of arms to depict Arthur, how he evolves or changes over time, and the theme. You will need to follow all directions in the slides. Since you have several days to complete this project, I suggest you follow this timeline to ensure that you complete all parts of the project sufficiently and within a timely manner. As you work on your project, I will be checking in to ensure that you are working. I will also provide feedback on your written responses so that you can make any necessary revisions. Your suggested timeline. Monday, April 13th, you're going to read Young Arthur and take notes as you read. You're going to brainstorm ideas for questions on slide 4. Number 2, on Tuesday, April 14th, you should continue brainstorming ideas. Fully answer questions on slide 4 in the Google Slides project. Start typing your responses on slide 5 within the coat of arms. And then number 3, on Wednesday, April 15th, finish typing your responses, address feedback from your teacher, and finalize your written responses. You can submit your project on Wednesday, April 15th, 2020. Okay, so this is your rubric here. This is how I'm going to grade you. Okay, I also put a copy of your rubric in your Google slide right here. So let's go ahead and open that up. Okay. All right, so traditional literature common assessment project, Young Arthur Coat of Arms. And we already went over the AKS standards that it's covering. Okay, so they're the same ones that we've been practicing last week. So please read through slides 3 and 4 carefully and follow each step. Your assessment overview. After studying various texts within our traditional literature unit, it is now time for you to apply what you have learned. For this assessment, you will read the legend Young Arthur by Robert D. Sansucci. Once you are finished, you will complete a coat of arms, which will incorporate the following standards we have been practicing, and we've already gone over them. Okay, so next slide. Says at the top, once again, this assessment will count as a test grade. It will be completed individually. Common assessment directions. Number 1, students, first read the passage titled Young Arthur. You will find the link for this passage right here. As you read, annotate and take notes. You can take notes on a separate sheet of paper. Audio recordings and video recordings are available on the Google document. After you have read the passage, move on to step 2, okay? Click on this link to access the passage. All right, and here it is. This passage, you can click on the link here and listen to the audio version as you follow along with it. It's really not a long text. So it's about an 8-minute recording, okay? So make sure that you're paying attention and you're taking notes. So number 2, students, when you are finished reading the passage, you will create a coat of arms to display young Arthur and what he represented. There are specific directions on slide 4. You need to follow the directions on slide 4. Number 3, you will create your coat of arms on slide 5 and use the directions on slide 4. Number 4, a rubric is also included on slide 6 to show you how you will be graded. Please be sure to use your rubric as a checklist in order to include all required components of the coat of arms. Please be sure to review the coat of arms example on slide 7 for more assistance. And number 5, you can view the supplemental material to learn more about young Arthur. Okay, so this is just some additional background information on young Arthur in the medieval times. If you want to take a look at that, it's actually a pretty good site for information. So our next slide, directions to complete young Arthur's coat of arms. Follow the directions for each box. On the next slide, type your answers in the appropriate text box. Use these directions as a guide and as a checklist to ensure that you include all pertinent information where needed. Please contact your language arts teacher with any questions. So you're going to have 4 boxes. Box 1, you're going to explain how young Arthur evolves with the plot. You might want to go ahead and write down the things that you're going to be required to look for and find textual evidence for, so that when you're listening to the text or reading the text on your own, you kind of have an idea of what to look for and where the best piece of textual evidence is going to be. Okay. So box 1, once again, explain how young Arthur evolves with the plot. So you need to make sure that you address all the components within box 1. So it says, explain young Arthur at the beginning of the story. Explain young Arthur at the end of the story. What events occur within the plot that cause young Arthur to evolve or change? Box 2, support your answer from box 1 with evidence from the text. So we have one requirement for box 2. We need textual evidence to support our ideas from box 1. Box 3, what is the theme of young Arthur? How is it developed throughout the story? Support the theme with textual evidence. So we have several components that we need to include within box 3, okay? You were just given 2 questions and it told you that you had to support the theme with textual evidence. So please go through your checklist and make sure that you are meeting all of these requirements as you write down your response, okay? So identify the theme, which character displays the theme, what actions help develop the theme, and your hint. Think about the internal struggle that Theseus dealt with. Theseus had to overcome his fear of the Minotaur and stay determined to find his way out of the labyrinth. Theseus and young Arthur portray similar characteristics. And box 4, you need to insert a picture of a symbol that represents young Arthur portraying the theme. Explain how the picture or symbol represents the theme. Once again, you have a couple of different parts that you need to address within box 4, so please use this as a checklist to make sure that you meet all of your requirements. So you need symbols or pictures that can depict the following: respect, honor, determination, or inner strength, okay? So you have been given symbols that you have been given ideas that represent some of the themes within young Arthur. So now it's your job to use one of those: respect, honor, determination, or inner strength, to find a symbol, okay, and explain how it represents the theme. This is where you're going to be typing your responses. So you'll notice that boxes 1 and 2 are much smaller than boxes 3 and 4. Okay, so you need to make sure that whatever you type fits in these boxes. And I am old and my eyes don't work as well as they used to. So please make sure that you're not writing super teeny tiny. Okay. This is your rubric. So remember, we're all going to be going for the distinguished category over here. You are going to have different grading categories. So you're going to have a character development. You're going to be graded on evidence. You're going to be graded on theme, symbol, and language. So if we take a look at box 1, character development. To be distinguished, it describes Arthur at the beginning of the story, describes Arthur at the end of the story, and explains how the events that occurred within the plot cause Arthur to evolve or change. The evidence box. To be distinguished, you need to include relevant textual evidence from the beginning and end of the story that clearly shows the change in Arthur. The theme. To be distinguished, you need to identify the theme. You need to identify actions that help to develop the theme, and you need to include relevant textual evidence to support the theme. Symbol. To be distinguished, you need to insert a picture or symbol that portrayed the theme, and you need to explain how the picture or theme portrayed the theme. And language. To be distinguished, there should be no errors in language mechanics and conventions that interfere with meaning. Please remember that you have access to a computer right now. You should not have any spelling or grammatical errors. Okay, so make sure that you go back and read over everything that you read. You might notice that all of the requirements that I just read you are on your checklist over here that we just went over, okay? Please use this as a guide. This is a test grade for like the, 7th time? So you want to make sure that you do this right. And then here is an example for you using Rikki Tikki Tavi. Okay, so I went ahead and explained how Rikki Tikki Tavi evolves within the plot. I made sure that I talked about him at the beginning, the end, and actions in between. Textual evidence to support your ideas in box 1. Okay, I have textual evidence in here. I have 2 pieces of textual evidence actually. What is the theme of Rikki Tikki Tavi? How is it developed throughout the story, and support the theme with textual evidence? Okay, and then over here I have a picture of a lion because the theme I said was courage, and I explained the picture and how it relates to Rikki Tikki Tavi. Okay, so that's your project that you're going to be working on. If you have any questions, remember, email me, write in the discussion post if you need to, or go ahead and add a private comment in your Google slide. Okay, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, good luck to you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.